and it's different because I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
It looked like you hit, but it's clock. Welcome back to the Sports Dentistry podcast. So we're a week on, Umar. We had Annie on the show last week, and you were very jovial for him. You were on a bit of a high, and you were looking to talk to Annie about the Six Nations. How's that going?
Well, listen, I'm going to cut you some slack because it is St. Patrick's Day today. So you're the one who's jovial today after winning the Triple Crown. But I'm not going to lie, when watching the end of the France game, my frown turned upside down when France eventually ended up winning, because I knew that the dagger was in your heart that you didn't win the Six Nations. However, a win's a win. You won fair and square. Ireland were very good on the day. Scotland, to be fair to them, the campaign has been decent. Italy are very, very good, so we shouldn't really take any bad memories away from that game, because they proved to be a good outfit during the Six Nations. However, Triple Crown champions Ireland, congratulations, my friend. I'm not going to belittle the situation. It is your day today, with it being St. Paddy's Day. So what have you done to celebrate?
Well, firstly, do you know it's bad whenever the Dublin Airport social media team just take the piss out of the whole of Scotland?
To be fair, they did a good job. And I think a lot more companies are doing things like that now, aren't they? They're trying to be a little bit more sarcastic and funny in their tweets. And I know Ryanair do quite a fair bit of that, because they're an Irish-based airline, aren't they? Or their hub's
Ryanair,
Ireland, isn't it?
Of course. Yeah, no, Ryanair, definitely. Yeah, Ryanair's got quite a bit of a reputation in Ireland, but they're very good at marketing. Very good. And I think Dublin Airport's sort of starting to copy them a little bit and try to get a bit of engagement that way.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good. It's pretty funny, to be fair. You've got to laugh at it. I mean, what else can you do,
So he's all came to town into Dublin. High hopes. But at least it would have been a good weekend either way.
Definitely. I mean, the other two games afterwards were decent. It was great to see Wales do well and get it back into a bit of form. And obviously the game at the end where nobody gave England a chance, but then, again, they played really well. So if all my Scotland friends who were in Dublin and who were there to chase a dream, they had a cracking day, because there were still two great games of rugby to be played. And there's no better city to be in than in Dublin. It is a fantastic place, as you well know, with all the local watering holes and local establishments that you can go to. It really is a great place to spend a Saturday.
Yeah, so Six Nations was brilliant, and to be honest, France deserved to win it. They were probably the best team. I know you did a number of them in Murrayfield that day, but they still put 40 on the board, and they played some fantastic rugby. And I think somebody was listening to one of the the rugby podcast, and they said on every stat, France came out number one.
Was that right?
Yeah, every stat they were number one in. So even though they won it in the last seconds, they probably were deserving winners. And then also it means England lost, so I don't think the Irish were too. I think we're all bit off. We're either going to win the Six Nations or England was going to lose. So
yeah, so it was a win-win situation then, ultimately, wasn't it? But also, talking about rugby, our good friend Thomas Appleton led the Portuguese to victory over the Georgians as well.
Yes, and a shock. I think the Georgians were going for something like 9 in a row or something, or even more than that. It's the first time in a generation Portugal have been able to do it. So yeah, it's fantastic. And it probably doesn't get the limelight. You only sort of get snippets of it. It's a pity it doesn't get a wee bit more coverage, that second tier competition, because that's how you're going to get these teams up, playing a little bit better and competing. And I think there is that concern with the extended World Cup next year. There's going to be a lot of mismatches, but you need to get, as we spoke to like Nadine, and she was talking about how the difference between women's rugby and men's rugby in South Africa, and getting more eyes on the game to get them built up. You kind of need that with the second tier nations, the Six Nations as well, to get the European, I think it's a European series or something they call it. But like the likes of Georgia and Portugal and Spain and getting these teams and Belgium and stuff, the teams that are sort of trying to get better, but they're just not maybe to where Italy was when they were first introduced into the Six Nations. So, but fantastic achievement for Thomas. He just keeps on achieving, doesn't he?
Well, that's the thing. But if you don't give these sides an opportunity to play against the better teams, they're not going to get better. It's not just in rugby, but it's the same as football. It's the same as cricket. It's the same as any sport, really. If you're only really playing against people around you, you're not going to be able to put yourself in a position where you don't know how much better you can get. So I definitely feel there's an opportunity there to give these teams exposure at the highest level to see where they need to improve, where they need to get better. And, there's been chat about potentially there being a promotion and relegation when it comes to something like the Six Nations. Definitely don't think you can make the tournament any bigger and include more teams because there's just not enough weeks in the calendar to be able to do that. But then it gives us a bit of a kick up the backside to the teams that are in it who want to remain in the elite of the Six Nations. But then, say, for example, you lose a Italy or you lose a Wales or you lose a Scotland to go down, whoever it is, and the next team comes back up again, it's a massive impact onto that nation as well. So obviously there's more to it than rugby. There's obviously a big business aspect to it and there's a big marketing aspect of it. But if you told me you can go to Lisbon or Porto to watch Portugal against Scotland, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going, because that is a fantastic place to be. And obviously George and our friends out in Georgia as well, they bang on about just how good it is out there as well. So I don't think it'd be a difficult thing to sell most of the nations to go travel to these places, but obviously it all comes down to money and business ultimately at the end of the day.
Yeah, they played that match actually in Madrid. The Portugal-Georgia match that was played in Madrid, where our good friend Jaime is. And then we've got the 7 series is just out Madrid, and then also the European Cup finals are in Bilbao. So a lot of rugby happening in Spain, which is quite interesting because it wouldn't necessarily been known for being a rugby nation.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
So talking about rugby, and we're going to have a guest on that's big into rugby as well, but in South America, and it's not Argentina. Which is when you think about South American rugby, you think Argentina.
It's quite hard to put it towards somebody you've not met before. When he reached out saying he was coming over to Scotland, he was going to come over to the Scotland-Argentina game. And obviously I knew him through social media channels and kind of his involvement with the World WhatsApp group. But actually getting to meet him and spending good time with him, heart of gold is the words or the phrase that comes to mind. Just a genuine chap, genuinely likes to know a lot about you, asks good questions. He's not just there for himself. He's really passionate about trying to improve the people around him and just have that good company. And I think there's a lot of things going on in Latin America and South America at the minute, so it's probably quite a nice time to get him on.
Yeah, and we're talking about our friend Christian Cardozo, Christian, we know he's heavily involved with sports dentistry. We had a good, you had him up in Murrayfield, and we had a good chat with him down in Cape Town and Stellenbosch. And we know he's set up the World WhatsApp group, and it's going really well. But we don't maybe know all the ins and outs of what he's doing down in Paraguay and the sort of sports dentistry support that's down there. So I'm really interested to hear what's actually happening on the ground down there. And we know, particularly with the likes of social media and with our good friends the likes of Clar, that South America, sports dentistry in South America, it's really popular and there's a lot of enthusiasm for it down there. So I'm really interested to hear what's happening on the ground in Paraguay.
Yeah, I know, and he's been doing it, like you said, for a long time. So I think in the early 2010s, he kind of got going. So it'd be quite interesting to see how they're doing it there, how different it is to what you and I are doing out here in the UK. And just to kind of get his background into how he got into sports dentistry, just how we normally ask our guests, but more importantly, what's happening in the future and going forward. And we do know that he was the creator of the World WhatsApp group, so it'd be quite nice to get his input into what made him do that and how did he come about with that idea and just what makes him tick when it comes to sports dentistry and what he sees the growth and expansion of that, not just in South America, but globally as well.
Yeah, so looking forward to this conversation. So let's go. Gives me great pleasure to welcome to the Sports Dentistry podcast this week, Dr. Christian Cardozo. Did I get that right? Close? Cardozo?
Yeah,
Hey, Christian, how are you?
Hi, John. Hi, Omar. It's a big pleasure for me to be here. And first of all, I'm very grateful for your invitation. You're two great friends and wonderful people, which is what matters most.
Yeah, it's great. It's crazy how just before Christmas we've seen each other a lot between Dusseldorf and Cape Town. And that feels like ages ago.
And with Umar in Edinburgh too.
That's right.
That's
yes.
right, yeah.
A lot of days together.
It
And
was.
right
It was good
now-
fun.
I am in the other side of the world. Yeah.
Yes, yes. You're back to where the sunshine is.
Yeah. And you in the rainy days. Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously myself and Umar have got to know you quite well, Christian, but just for any of our listeners that don't maybe know you as well, can you give us a little bit of a background to yourself, how you got into dentistry and how that developed into sports dentistry?
Okay. And I like to mention that I'm from Asunción, the capital of Paraguay, a landlocked country in the heart of South America, bordering Brazil and Argentina. When I was a child, I have been passionate about sports. I played football, rugby union. In Paraguay, we have only rugby union, not rugby league, and tennis too. I even ran several half marathons, and I was even the national runner-up in weightlifting in the 77 kilograms category. And always, I love sports, bruh. And Cerro Porteño is the most popular club in Paraguay, yeah, and has the largest stadium, for example. Our marathon is from Cerro Porteño. It's called La Olla Azulgrana, yeah, it's for 45,000 spectators. I remember that in 2012, the club turned 100 years old and won the national championship. So the celebratory barbecue, we have a lot of barbecues here. Yeah, we drink and
You have the weather. You have the weather for barbecues.
Yeah, it's perfect weather for beers, And in the barbecue with members of the board of directors, and I suggested to Vice President Martin Pereira the creation of a dental clinic, which in the club's training grounds. And he replied, "Okay, maybe. Send me the formal project proposal." That was on Friday. And early Monday morning, I went to the club with my proposal. Yeah. When I presented to the project to the secretary, she replied, "Okay, there are two other projects submitted. The club view and favorable. Why don't you combine them and it will be approved?" As I am very sociable person, who enjoy having friends and connecting people. I knew the other two colleagues who submitted projects, contacting them about to join in forces, yeah, and submitting together. So that's what happened. We started with sports dentistry in the club in 2013, together with colleagues Ramiro Brites and Jorge Brites Ayala. Sorry. And sadly, Jorge passed away almost 3 years ago, and I always remember him with great affection. Yeah. And then I was put in charge of the dental department of the club, but the first division and the youth teams. Yeah. I want to emphasize this, and we always work as a team. Otherwise, it will be impossible. Therefore, I want to acknowledge and thank Dr. Aldo Martinez, the head of the medical staff in the first division, and Dr. Carlos Dominguez, who are in charge of the youth division. And greetings to the entire great club family.
I'd like to maybe learn a little bit more about your proposals. So you went to the club with a proposal for sports
Yeah.
dentistry. What was it? What did that look like? What did it
Yeah,
involve?
what happened? And the club is very, very popular. And all the football or soccer is the most popular sport in Paraguay. And all the kids want to play in Cerro Porteño Cerro Porteño is like a Barcelona or Real Madrid. Yeah, it's one of the biggest clubs. Yeah, and all the kids, children wants to play in Cerro Porteño, and they come from the countryside, for example, and sadly, our national health system is not good, and they don't have a very good oral health. And who comes to the club? The good players, yeah, or so for goalkeeper. We have the best player for the country, but a lot of them they don't have a very good oral health, and that's our work. And it's different because I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
It looked like you had, but it's
It's
your
okay.
clock.
It is very, very different because in the first division you have other kind of players. They are superstars. They have very good oral health, yeah. But we need to screen him there, evaluate there, and with the job is other kind of treatments, They have a lot of cavities and periodontal diseases. Yeah. And it is different. And I am part of the both sides, yeah, and I could see a lot of dreams comes true, yeah, when they comes to the club with with their parents. And then, for example, one of them and right now is playing in Manchester United under 21 category. And it's incredible because the Manchester United bought for, I don't know, 5 or 6 million euros or something like that. Change lives, yeah. And that's very, very interesting, you know.
So, what does that look like to you with how you work at that club? Like, if you talk us through what your typical day to day there is, and how you see these players, and how you screen these players, and how you interact with the medical staff. So, are you there based there 5 days a week? Are you there every other day? So can you just give the listeners a bit of an insight into what you do? Because that was
Yeah.
2013 that this all kind of kicked off. So you've got some probably really good data and research over that period of time. But yeah, just give the listeners a bit of an idea what it looks like to be in Christian's shoes.
Okay. Yeah. The Youth Division Training Center is almost 25 kilometers to the capital. Yeah. And I went to there 4 times a week. Yeah. During the morning. In the afternoon, I work in my particular office, or I work with the first division. The first division have the option to go to my office, my particular office. My office is in Asunción, in the downtown, yeah, and it's next to the stadium, for example. And for them, it's easy to go to my office, yeah. They have their cars, supercars, yeah, and they can go to my office. And for the Yao division, the office is next to the field, yeah, and then they have their school, a home to live where they are from countryside. They live there. Right now we have 70 child living there, studying at our school, Cerro Porteño school. And then they have psychologists, nutrologists, all people working for them. It's a very, very good and interesting system. And the first division, and they play for the first division, and we have a lot of signs too from Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay. The club have money and pay for the best player in the song. Also, a Spanish player we had.
So the club have is that like an academy set up where they have a school and they have accommodation for the academy players and all that support and then there's a clinic as part of that or just a clinic close by?
No. It's part of that. I am
Okay.
part of the medical staff, and we have an app, an application, yeah. And I put, for example, John today he have a cavity in 1.6, and today he will take an antibiotic or whatever. And the same with the nutrologist. The coach put if no, she ran during the game 8 kilometers. He needs to rest. We know. We have all the information.
So everything goes into a central app, like you have an app.
Yeah. I have my password and I have
And
my
is that a specific app for the club, or is that like a company, like the likes of Kitman Labs or someone who'd be quite
yeah
popular? Like, is that what sort?
HESDEP, Gestión Deportiva is in Spanish.
Okay,
HESDEP,
okay, so
and you
okay.
can put your password and I can put okay today this and we know everything. It's a very controlled system. You know?
So, for example, if you had seen a player, and when we do like screenings, a lot of the time we would do like maybe a traffic light system where we say like
Yeah. We
green,
have
good to go, yellow, needs sort of
yeah.
some treatment, but okay, but red, emergency treatment. Like if you were to input that player needed, dental treatment ASAP, who looks at that then? Is that the medical lead looks at that? What would be the next steps? Because a lot of the time I think that's a challenge for us here when we're doing teams. We give that feedback to the medical team, but it's maybe not acted on as quickly as we would like. Sometimes there's maybe a bit of a disconnect, particularly if we're going in and as guest screeners and don't really have the setup to support the next stage of treatment. So explain how that would happen in that scenario where a player will come in and you say, oh, we need to get treatment. Say, for example, he's large cavities, maybe a pulponecrosis, and he needs root canal treatment. How do you highlight that, and then what's the process to get that player treatment?
Yeah. No, we have screen at the beginning of the season. We have screening all the players since under 13 until the first division, and I have the traffic light then. Okay, Pepe, and I talk with the coaches. Yeah. Okay, when can I make the surgery for this player? I need, for example, 72 hours to rest. And when do you have a large week for him to rest? He told me, no, right now, no, because we have in the middle of the week other match. Or no, they told me how I am in the club for a long time. We know every player and we make the surgeries in the middle of the vacation, yeah, and they know, okay, Pepe, you need surgery at the end of the season, and I make the surgeries, all the surgeries together, yeah, and then they rest and they come to the next season without issues.
And how many clinicians do you have? How many dental professionals do you have working with you? Is it just dentists? Do you have therapists, hygienists?
Yeah, it's a very good question. In the first division, we have one clinician doctor, 3 traumatologists, then 3 nutriologists, 1 psychologist, and a lot of people, physios, 4 or 5, and the jaws division, 4 or 5 physiologists, doctors, maybe 6, and nutriologists, 4. It's a big team.
Yeah, but from a dental side of things, what do you have?
Dental,
What's the
I
dental
have
yeah.
2 with me. I'm the coordinator and I have a team with me. For example, I don't make endodontic treatment. I don't like to make, yeah. And
That's me, Andrew. Me, Andrew, both, mate.
I have an endodontic. I have a friend, maxillofacial surgeon. I have a team with me, and I know what happened. And okay, it happens this, and we need this. And I am the coordinator, but we need to resolve the problem because, and that's a very important topic in professional, in high level. Every day is important. The most common question for the doctor is, he needs to rest, he will play the match or not. Yeah. That's the main question. They need to play because the club is paying a lot of money in some cases. Yeah.
And so, like, I was just about to ask that. So, how's that arrangement with the club? Does the club pay for their dental cover or cure, or is there an insurance system, or what's
the
that
club
relationship
has
with the club?
a insurance system, but And it is important that, man, because the club needs one part of their health system, and I have the control of every player, and I know what is the situation of every player in the system. Because if they go only for the insurance system, and we don't know the medication, what treatment they did, the control is the most important thing. Yeah.
So the club, like, so say they needed dental treatment, the club would pay for the dental treatment. Is that the arrangement, or?
Yeah. And I am
Oh,
part of the club, and I make the treatment.
okay, yeah. So they would
But
organize that with
for
you.
the professionals, John, that's a important topic. But what happened in the past? They didn't have in their contract that they needed to make a treatment in the club or outside. As the medical, you can't say, I will be your dentist and only I will make your treatment. The professional can decide it. Yeah. If they, for example, we have a lot of Argentinian players, they can make their treatments in Argentina, for example, with their doctors. But then I need to see, okay, it's good. Okay, you're okay. Yeah. I have the control.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of how we do it as well. And you can't force them to come and see you as long as you can highlight there's issues, and they might want to go and see a dentist who speaks their native language, or they want to get a bit more information about it. And that's something that happens quite routinely here. It sounds like you've got a really good setup there. I didn't realize the extent of, even though we spent quite a lot of time together, the actual extent of your involvement with the club out there from under 13s all the way to the first team is quite good. So are you starting to try and roll that out to other South American clubs, not in Paraguay as well, and other countries around you, or is that something that you've held to your chest and nobody else can get access to that?
And to the information.
No, just how you've set it up. You've set it up where you're kind of ingrained now in that clinic, but there'll be people out there who'll want to know how you've done it. And also, John was talking about the app that you have and everything like that, and that's a really good blueprint. So that's like if you're a religious man, then that's the Bible. People want to see, okay, how do we follow that and implement it into their own clubs?
Yeah. And right now I'm helping a colleague from Uruguay. She is implementing right now the same work in Uruguay, and I help a lot. No, I don't have problem to help the people. I help a lot of people. Yeah, I don't. I'm very good to share my information. It doesn't matter. Yeah, about the how to make the system, not the situation of the players, not is private.
But so for yourself, you're just focused on that one soccer. Is that the main soccer club in your city, or is there other soccer clubs?
In the country, yeah.
Oh yeah, but
It's
like
a
is
big,
like so like for the other clubs that are in the same league as your club, would they have similar setups, or is there
yeah. They
similar
have.
support?
Then after they saw our situation, I have colleagues in the other clubs, and I help them to make the same, because the same players change clubs. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they are playing for money. Yeah, and some of our players then go to the other club in the same city or other city, and they told, no, we have a dentist, and they have dentists too. It's growing. The whole system is growing, and that's good. That's the important thing to the evolution of sports dentistry, right?
Yeah. But Christian, we know that you're the man of the people, and we know that you like to help, and we know that you like to take people on the journey with you, and that takes us on to the World WhatsApp group which you created, and where we're at with that now. But in the last, I would say in the last 18 months or so, it's really started to take off, and there's been a lot of new additions in that group, and there's a lot of countries who are now creating their own associations kind of off the back of the work that you've been doing and what you've been championing. So first of all, where did the idea come from to kind of create that WhatsApp group? And just talk us through when you first started that and the growth that you've seen over that period of time.
Yeah, the idea arose during the 2024 Olympic Games, yeah, to create a WhatsApp group in which colleagues from all over the world can be part without distinction, yeah, because that's what sport is. Even more so in these times, with how the world is, with a lot of facts and sport, and in this case sports dentistry is to unite us. Yeah, I don't like to oh you, yeah, you're are my friend and you're not because you are from this country or whatever. I don't like this kind
Well,
of
Umar is not my friend at the moment because we embarrassed Scotland yesterday. They got a wee bit ahead of themselves. They're beating England and France, and
and currently
I,
you know that there are approximately more than 200 members from all over the world.
Yeah.
yeah, like I didn't realize that's only been 18 months or so of that group. Like it's not that long, just over since the Paris Olympics. I suppose it's coming up to 2 years this summer. But it really, I remember last June, which would have been 12 months of the group. And I tried to look to see how many countries were represented, and there was representation from a lot of countries internationally. When you set up the group, did you think it would ever get that big, that there would be that many countries involved?
Yeah, it's incredible. And you know that I was in Dusseldorf and I was in the next to the conference place, yeah, and two people were talking, and then what's your name? My name is, and are you in the group? And they said I was only here, and then I was looking for in the group. And I said,
Yeah.
I thought, okay, the group is interesting. It's working. Yeah, it was funny because
Yeah.
I didn't want be work with them, but I heard that and okay, the group is working. Yeah.
No, it has been good, and it has been good because people are talking about different parts of dentistry, whether it's research or trauma, what they've done in certain cases, or does somebody know a dentist in some part of the world, and can you kind of help out? And it's good. There's been good debates in that group as well, and everybody's got an opinion, which is fine. And I think you need to allow people to express their opinion, whether you
And
believe it or not, or whether you agree with it or not is different, but you still need to give a platform to people to discuss. Now,
yeah,
John laughs because John
and
likes to stir things up, right? So,
No, I wouldn't
but
say
I,
that. I'd just
but
like to get clarification.
okay, he likes to get clarification. I think it's really important because different people in different parts of the world do things differently, and it still works, right? So I think we need to have an open mind with that. So I think that's been superb. Now, look, I had the privilege of having you up in Edinburgh at hospitality when Scotland played Argentina. We'll not talk about the rugby that day because Argentina were fantastic.
Just don't talk about the rugby usually, or they get one or two good
was
results every
incredible.
year.
This signature was incredible.
That's it. And then obviously we spent quite a fair bit of time in Dusseldorf, and then the story has to go to South Africa where you arrive and you don't have your luggage, which was
That's right. Yeah.
which is quite remarkable. You didn't have it for a few days, and you still managed to put a smile on your face, and you still managed to, you know, give us a good time. Because for that, I say thank you, because having to spend that much time with John would have been a struggle. But having you there was fantastic. Can you just talk about your experiences coming from South America and then over to Europe? So your colleagues who will be listening to this out in South America, who are thinking about potentially making the trip out to the UK or to Europe for Lisbon next year, what would you say to them and your experiences with South Africa? So just from you, this is your opportunity to let your colleagues and friends know just how that 3 or 4 weeks was for you.
In sports dentistry, it's not just about treating injuries. It's about optimizing oral health for peak performance.
That's right, because when athletes push their limits, every detail matters, even their oral health.
That's why the Sports Dentistry podcast is being powered by Philips, true innovators in oral health technology.
Philips Sonicare toothbrushes use advanced sonic technology to disrupt plaque biofilm, removing up to 20 times more plaque than a manual brush.
And that's critical for athletes. With high carb diets, dry mouth, and frequent energy supplements, there are greater risk of caries and gum disease.
Philips backs evidence-based dentistry, giving us tools that fit perfectly into performance-driven treatment plans.
So whether you're helping your athletes recover, protect, or perform,
Elevate your protocol with Philips. You.
Yeah. First of all, and I had the opportunity to be to attend the Scotland Argentina match in Düsseldorf. Oh no, in marathon. Sorry, and but before Düsseldorf, and thank you, Umar, for the invitation. It was incredible for me, and then we were together at the first conference of South African Association, and you know that we are right now created between in South America we have associations in Paraguay, Brazil, and Chile. And together with the presidents, we are created the Latin American Association. And we will have a conference in this year, if hopefully, yeah. We want to that, and it's growing a lot. We need to work together to grow more because I saw how are working in different parts of the world, right? That's true. And about South Africa, my experience in conference, you know that for Paraguayan people, it's very, very difficult to go to South Africa. We don't have a direct flight, yeah. And for example, my cell phone, it doesn't have connection in South Africa. I told you, Umar, I will have a map paper like the 80s. It was a point without my luggage, but no, there are a list of problems, and if we have help and the other things you can resolve, and with a smile always and enjoying the moment, and that's life, yeah. And you know that I will my son will born soon, and can you see?
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And Ireland
yeah.
too. Ireland
Yes,
too.
now we're talking. Yeah.
I didn't have clothes in South Africa, but I bought them
Nice, yes.
here.
Nice. Ah, very good. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the we need to enjoy more alive. Yeah, that's the main message. Yeah, and
Yeah,
don't
definitely.
fight because it doesn't matter.
So
Yeah.
just we had a great time there at the launch of the South African Sports Dentistry Association, and that's what myself, Weimar, and Imogen are trying to do at the moment. We're helping out with the Australian. You mentioned there that in South America at the moment you have Uruguay, Brazil, and Chile. Is there plans to have associations in the other countries? Like you said, you had friends in Uruguay that you're trying to help. Do they have plans to set up an association?
Yeah,
What's
that's
it
the
like
plan.
in the other countries in South America?
Yeah, that's the plan, and we created La ODE, Latin American Association, and they can be part. And then in every country, they can growing with more people. They need people, and we need people, And with more people, more associations, sports industry, it will be growing more and more. That's the point.
So what does the Latin America Association look like then? You're saying you're looking at maybe doing a conference this year. Is that something that you're still working on? Is it something that you're able to tell the
Yeah.
listeners when
We're
when it
working
will
on that.
be, or what?
Yeah, we're working on that, and we need to have more tips and to fix more things, days, something like that. Yeah, and then we will you will see soon our more. We need more marketing then, and a very very more the team in will functions different functions and make better our job. But yeah, you will see soon our Latin American Association with a lot of people, and that's the point, working together. And I saw during different conference in every part of the world that we need to be more together in South America because of that is the idea. Yeah.
So is it like trying to set up something similar to like the European Association for Sports Dentistry, only a South American version? Is that what the goal is?
Yeah, that's the point. And then you can see then they're created the Georgian Association, the Netherlands Association, the Italian, and then we'll be part of the Latin American Association, right? But always, and I want to talk this with you, and I don't like the egos when the egos appear, yeah, and that's a very
Yeah.
important thing, yeah.
Yes,
Sometimes the people
I think
want
it's
to
difficult.
be the number one, yeah.
I think it comes with our profession. It's not just a sports dentistry thing. I think like
Yeah,
every
yeah, yeah,
profession has it and things like that. And it's difficult. And I think whenever it grows, when things grow and get big, you do have different personalities and different people that are in it for different reasons and different motivations. And I think that's where it takes strong leadership to make sure that we are all going in the right direction.
yeah. And you know, John, and the sports density, because we work with famous athletes, famous people, is the best place to try to be you or to be the number one or something like that. And
Yeah.
that's the point. We need to put our feet on the ground. Yeah, always. That's very very important.
Yeah, and I think we all three of us work with quite high profile athletes, and I think the best relationships with them is when you're able to treat them just like another person, and they're able to see you as another person and just have a conversation as though
Exactly.
you're another person. And when it's that sort of like if you're almost a little bit of a fan or you're trying to work with them for the wrong reasons,
Yeah.
it doesn't have the same relationship once you actually get to a stage where you would stop each other in the street and have a conversation. But then you can really build a good relationship and then provide the best sports dentistry support because they're going to take your advice, they're going to listen to your advice, and they know that what you're trying to do for them has got their best interests, and it's not just about trying to work with them so you can say that you're working with them.
For example, John, in the dressing room, I can take photograph of the player, and you need to respect the area. Yeah. For example, a lot of people out of the sports dentistry told me, "Why you never took a picture with the famous goalkeeper or something?" Like that? No, because I'm working and I
Yeah.
need to be professional. That's the point.
But if you would, like, a taxi, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's okay taking a photo if you've seen them for like 2 seconds, but if you actually have a relationship with these people,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you can get a photo anytime you want.
Because you know that
Yeah.
dentist is very your dentist is your it's very very important for you. You can change dentist every week or something like that because you have a relationship with them. There, so we got seen their mouths, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the most important thing is you're doing it because you're looking after them. That's the most important thing is you're there to provide a service as a dentist and looking after their oral health or whatever the situation is. But the more that you see them, the more the relationship builds, the rapport builds. And like John says, you can message them. We're probably all the same. A lot of athletes now we can call friends, and
Yeah.
but we also need to treat them as normal people as well. So you don't really want to. Annie said something on the podcast. She doesn't like to do this. You don't want to be a fanboy or a fangirl, and it's always trying to contain your emotions in certain situations where you're kind of seeing them in their environment, but you just need to let them kind of do their own things. But you do get a gauge of character. You do get a gauge of what the athlete is like, whether they want that sort of attention, whether they don't want that sort of attention. But it always comes down to number one thing is from a dental perspective, as you said, be professional, do your job first and foremost, and then everything else after that is you kind of just gauge it as it goes along. So what's on the pipeline for you now in Paraguay and what's happening there in the sporting world and the sporting industry? So you obviously had quite a lot of work with football or soccer and rugby. Is there any other sports that you're involved in as well?
Yeah. In 2024, I was I don't know if I can say prevent the brand told call me and I make the scanning for the Paraguayan franchise Jacare 15 for the Super Rugby Americas and for the instrumented mouse guard, yeah. And because I love rugby, I make the same system. I am with them. For example, during the screening, I saw, okay, you have a cavity. Come to my office and I have a lot of friends there. right now, yeah. And you know that Paraguay will be host of the Pan American Games in 2031, and it's growing a lot. The sport is growing a lot in the whole country, and I think that sports dentistry will be grown more and more here and in the region, in the whole South America, because we are making very good things, and that's important point too. We need to have our know make a specialty in Brazil, but we need to mix our knowledge with the experience and next to the feeling with the athlete. That's the point. We have to have a very good knowledge and research too. It's important, but we need to mix with the on the field treatments, right? That's very important. You can be without research or without knowledge. You need to mix there.
I'll just maybe touch on the field stuff because you've got quite a lot of experience supporting soccer with the soccer club since 2013, and we've had different guests on the podcast talking about the lack of importance FIFA is putting on supporting having a sports dentistry support. Just from your experience with working with the soccer team and the academy, how regular would you see dental trauma in soccer?
I see big traumas, at least 3 per year, but big abortions or big fractures, 3 per year could be. Yeah?
And
I think
is there a certain cause in soccer that you see? Like, is it elbows when they're going for corners, or is it just is there anything in particular that makes them high risk, or is it just part and parcel of the game and anything can cause it?
depends on the position. You know, the goalkeeper and the defensor have more probability to have an injury, but we have a lot, yeah. And you know that in Paraguay, I am a little bit like a reference or something like that, and a lot of people send me patients, and because of that, I am seeing constantly, and because of that, that's another important thing: the importance of the use of mouth guard. I'm very well made mouth guard, yeah, not so thin, you know. Because of that, the people that is teaching sports dentistry, they need to have a very good knowledge.
And so, do your soccer players wear mouth guards?
Yeah. Some of them
Yeah.
in 2020, 2020, we make for the whole 44 we make in 3 days with the Brazilian colleague and with a Brazilian colleague.
And do you find many of them wear them, or what was that initiative? What led to that initiative of getting them the mouth guards? And how did you find the players?
Some of them don't like, and then they don't want to use anymore, yeah. But a lot of them are still using. That's important. But you know, the other thing is that the other clubs say, no, why are you using mouthguard? No, we are playing football or soccer. It's not box or rugby. No, you don't need, and you need to talk, and you know the same story. They need to.
Do you find that do you find that makes it harder for the players to wear it, as more of an image thing for them, or is it more of a comfort thing? What's the barrier for the players that are not wearing them?
Some of them say that, and they said that it's uncomfortable, and they are using during a match, and then they talk off. But in some cases, footballers are very. They are looking for trending topics. You know, if Cristiano Ronaldo use, all the will use. That's the point.
We've said that plenty of times. You need the big players to be wearing it before it can even start to become more widestream and commercial. You have kids then going to say, "Can I get this mouth guard? Can I wear this because I saw this person wear it. When it comes to education in Latin America or South America with regards to sports dentistry, what's available there at the minute? So if there's people listening who want to get involved in it and they want to do some more education pathways there, what's available?
Okay, you have some courses, specialties in Brazil and in the USP, Universidad de Sao Paulo University. And then you have with Dr. Elinamba too in Curitiba. And then you have in Chile, like diplomate for a year, for example. And in Paraguay, we have courses, but only for a short period. Yeah, because we are starting in courses, and I don't want to make a big course if you don't have the first knowledge, some deep. Why? Because we need to make it step by step. That's the point. But yeah, a lot of people are interested in South America, in Latin America. It's growing a lot, sports dentistry, because of that. And I think that we will be together and we will see with more Spanish talking people soon. Yeah, you need to learn a little bit of Spanish.
Yes.
I think that's the thing that would really help. We've spoken about it a few times. That like the World WhatsApp group is great, but do you think like having in South America, you've got the Portuguese speakers and the Spanish speakers, and if we were able to overcome that barrier, we'll be able to grow together a lot easier. As hopefully with the developments in AI, we'll all be able to present in our own languages at whatever conference we go to, and the audience, no matter where it is in the world, will be able to understand.
Exactly. And remember, you will be in South America soon. I will try to get
well, we owe you a trip. You did come the whole way to Cape Town, so we have to,
prepare your
return the
Spanish.
favor.
Yeah, we're going to have to start learning,
And prepare your clothes for 40 degrees.
Oh, yes, Christian.
You don't need clothes when you're at 40 degrees. You just need sun cream. Lots of sun cream.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we're really looking forward to see what you're doing out there, Christian. You did mention it to us when we saw you last year about what your plans were for the future and how you see it growing out there. And, John and I certainly don't need a second invitation to get traveling and get around there. But I think the fact that you've supported not just your own nation and your own continent, but other continents as well, in such a short space of time, and all the traveling that you've done, and we know that your family is hopefully going to grow very, very soon, and you made that effort to go and spread the word. And I know that the South Africans and the Ganda brothers were very appreciative of the help that you gave at that time, and for them to then also kind of look after you when you were there. It just shows just the impact that you had. And I think John and I said this afterwards, that if you weren't there, it would have made things even a lot more difficult for the two of us and Imogen as well, because you did a lot of heavy lifting when we were there too. And you helped us organise lots of different things. So on that respect, thank you very much. And I'm not just saying that because you're on the podcast now, but we have talked about it quite a lot. And just the energy that you brought, the smiles that you brought, the stories that we're now going to be able to share for many, many years. So in that respect, thank you very much. But look, we hopefully, as the year goes on, we're able to then find out more about what's happening in Latin America. And I actually need to renew my passport, so I'll make sure I get that sorted just in time. just in case you want us to come,
No, I think that the war is little. We will be connected. It doesn't matter how, WhatsApp group or call, but that's the point. We need to be together with all these things. And that's the message. I don't know if I could say a message, but we need to be more together and enjoy life. That's make the good things. Yeah, don't be bad with other
We are delighted to have Ionate as a sponsor for the Sports Dentistry podcast. Are you looking for a water bottle that's built to keep up with your active lifestyle? Look no further than Ionate, the totally leak-proof water bottles with triple lock technology to prevent spills no matter where you're headed. With a simple one-touch opening mechanism, you can sip on the go without hassle. Plus, Ionate's sleek modern designs are not only functional but can be personalised just for you. Made from high-quality steel, these bottles are easy to clean and best of all, they're sustainable. From 320ml to 1200ml, Ionate has the perfect size for you, whether you're just out for a jog or going on a long hike. And it doesn't stop at water bottles. Ionate also has travel mugs and flasks to keep your drinks just right wherever you are. Ionate have officially licensed water bottles for the NBA, NFL, MotoGP and British and Irish Lions, so you know you're getting the best. I have been using the bottles for a long time now and cannot recommend them highly enough. So head over to www.ionate.co.uk to get your hands on the best bottles in the business, bar none. Now back to the pod.
People, yeah, and
I think that's what gives us a unique opportunity here, because we are launching an Australian and New Zealand association in October, and we've been very fortunate enough to get in touch with Brett Dorney and get him involved. And people now from the Academy of Sports Dentistry, because Brett was very heavily involved with them over the years, and the Sydney Olympics, which was 2000 and I think early 2000s, he was the president of the ASD. People have seen his name and they've shared different photos of him teaching in the past, where because of technology and how it's advanced with the likes of social media, even us doing this online podcast, we're able to grow things so much more than the likes of Brent was able to do when he was 25 years ago, when he was pushing hard and pushing sports dentistry. So we do have a real unique opportunity here where we can grow sports dentistry internationally that the generation before us didn't. So I think it's maybe our responsibility to build on the good work that they've done, to try to use what we have, the technology and the ability to do this, to really push it forward. And as you have mentioned, the amount of associations that are now getting started, like the Georgian, South African, the Turkish, they all started they all conferences for the first time in December. So there is this real excitement and enthusiasm to get sports dentistry, and we have this ability to help everybody help this grow.
Yeah, and John, you know that I knew Professor Peter Fine, his name, because UCLA. And one day I was talking with people in the isokinetic conference. I was talking about soccer, a lot of people, and then he told, no, I like rugby. And then I was talking with him, and I didn't know that he was Peter Fine. And then the people told, Peter Fine. Oh, I can't believe that it was Peter Fine talking with me. It was, and I saw Peter a lot of, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, and he knows me right now, and it was incredible for me. I had seen their papers or their photo in Google, you know.
Interesting. It's interesting you say that, because Peter and Ian Needleman and Julie Gallagher and these names that you hear, they're obviously good friends of ours, John, right? And we don't maybe see that sort of the reactions of other people who only have cited their papers pretty much in every presentation that they've ever done. But when they actually get to meet them, just to realise how nice people they are and how much time they actually give to be able to talk about their passion, which is sports dentistry. So you can see that in Christian's voice there, how he's reacting to it. And that was Peter Fine. I can't believe I was just chatting to him, or if it was Ian Needleman, or if it was Julie and all these other big names as well. So we kind of don't take it for granted. That's probably not the right phrase, but certainly when you see the other people who talk about these clinicians so passionately, it's actually really nice to see.
Yeah, it's incredible, because closing the circle, in my proposal in 2013, I put in England, Professor Peter Fine or Jan Needleman with the paper in London Athlete 2012. And then it was for me, and I put in my conference, it was a dream come true. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all.
that's fantastic, isn't it? Just that ability, then, just how small the world has got that we can do all this and meet everybody, and it's not just a name that we're seeing on a paper anymore, or a face that we're seeing on Google. It's these abilities to meet people in person and build these relationships and
Yeah,
grow together.
and
Yeah,
then
it's fantastic.
I want to say one more time, you are good people, and that's the most important thing. Yeah, and remember, social media is not real life. Yeah,
Social media is not real life.
you
That's
need
right.
No,
to
that's
know the people. Yeah,
That's what you need to tell him more of that, because he's really good at social media. He spends a lot of time on it.
yeah. That's true. Yeah.
And I just have you noticed as well, Christian, that he's inside, like he's indoors, and he's still wearing 3 layers, because that's how cold Edinburgh is. He's got like a t-shirt on, he's got a hoodie on, and he's got
I
a
know,
gilet on.
but I like to stay really warm, so I like the warmth, as you well know, because when we were in South Africa, every minute of the day where the sun was out, I was outside. Apart from the conference day, I was like, I need to be sitting outside. So that has to be it. And you went on a skiing holiday recently, and I was like, I am not going anywhere near skiing unless I'm sitting in the restaurant at the top of the hill when the sun is shining,
Yeah.
and I can sit with a little bit of warmth there, then that's fine. But you can't knock me for sitting here wearing the Sports Dentistry gear, and you've not even got the background, and Christian does it. So that's 2 guests in 2 weeks, Annie, and now
I've
Christian.
got the merch.
And you can't even
I'm
do
wearing
it.
the merch, but I'm still wearing the t-shirt.
You've
We're
got
moving
the
in the
merch,
right
but then we'll
direction.
see. Yeah, but we can just see everybody walking past your house, waving in as you're on the.
It's not, there's nobody on my street. There's nobody on my street.
Yeah.
So what do you think the future is then? Where do you hope to see the future, first of all, in sports dentistry in South America? Where would you like to see, so say, what are we now, 2026, and we've got next year. I'm really looking forward actually to Lisbon next year and the European one.
Yeah.
I think it's going to give a good opportunity for a lot of South Americans to come across as well. But say, if we say by 2030, where would you like to see sports dentistry in South America?
Yeah, I want to see in South America more organized sites between all countries and grow together. Yeah, and I think that in Lisbon next year will be more people from South America, because could be because of the weather too, the language too, Portuguese, and we will enjoy a lot there. And for sports dentistry in South America, we will make a conference in December, and we need to put on social media first of all. But yeah, we will make, and yeah, it's a very important topic. It will be the first one for the Latin American Association, and it will be great. Yeah,
So
and I will try to.
you're thinking of December 2026?
Yeah, we think
Oh,
that December 2026.
very good.
And I don't know, I will try to have a podcast there, an international podcast with an Irish and Scottish guys. Yeah, we will try.
We'll have to pass a Spanish exam first. You'll have to be part of the entry. I've just seen that our good friends, where we had the sports conference, or the South African Sports Dentistry Association conference in the home of the Blitzbox, that the South African Blitzbox have just won the New York Sevens and topped the
Have
table
they?
for the Sevens. Yeah.
Yeah,
10-7, they've just beat Fiji. So
always
our
is
good friend
important.
Janice will be in good form today.
Yeah. Always is important. The conference and the sports activity for the people. Yeah.
Definitely. We also, we're probably repeating ourselves a lot, but I think the 2 biggest things that we want to make sure when we're doing conferences is to link it in with a sport, because that's what sets us apart from every other aspect of dentistry, is the sports part. And also have an athlete Q&A to hear the athlete voices. I think that's really, really important, because it sets aside us from every other option there is for dental education out there.
Yeah, exactly. That's important because I won't be forget the experience in Marfield. I won't forget the experience in the Seven Series in Cape Town, and
Yeah,
that's all. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So would you be looking? Are you looking at running? Is it a day course? Is it a 2-day course? The Latin America one. Are you doing it with a sporting event as well, or can you give us a little bit of an insight what's happening? Just kind of, just give us a little bit of a taste, or whet the appetite a little bit.
Yeah. That's important. You need to link with sport activities, yeah, and the course, and you know that the people only want to know how to make mouth guard, and we know that sports dentistry is not only about mouth guard, yeah, and that's the point. We need to show them more things. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge because even for non-dentists, that's what they think sports dentistry is the treatment of dental trauma and the prevention of dental trauma through mouth guards. But as you said, you were using the likes of Profi and Needleman's research in London 2012, and it was all to do with oral health in the athlete, and you were using that to help to start a sports dentistry program for your football club. And I think
Yeah.
that's probably what we can do if we're all together. We have a stronger voice, and that's how we can change people's perceptions if we're all singing off the same hymn sheet.
Exactly. And I am where I am thanks to the paper of Professor Niedelman and the Gay Scholar paper too for the Barcelona team, you know. And I put in my proposal. And I never think that the years before, yeah, years after, I will be with them or I will know there. It was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Christian, thanks very much for your time. It's always good to chat. As you
Okay,
say,
thank you.
it feels like it says on my podcast thing here it's an hour, but it feels more like the time above your head, which is time hasn't moved.
Yeah.
The time
No,
hasn't moved at all.
time is
Time is stood still. Time
still
has
the
stood
same with
still.
you. Same
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. Time stands still when we're together.
But it's true though, because I think a lot of the guests that we've had on, almost all of them, we can spend a lot of time chatting to them, and you're no different, my friend. And like I said, we've managed to spend some really good time together. But just wanted to say thank you very much, just for being a top man. Like it's pretty hard to put into words, just kind of how much good time that we've had in the last few months, and like I said, the effort that you've made to spread the word, the amount of time you've put into creating sports dentistry, not just in where you are, but around the world. And hopefully when your family gets bigger and you'll be able to continue to put, maybe not as the same amount of effort, because becoming a dad is hard work and hard going. However, if you need any help from us, we'd be more than happy to do whatever we can to help you, my friend, because you're a top guy.
Thank you,
Indeed.
Mano. You are a top guy, and John too. And I'm sorry for my Latin accent. Yeah?
No, you're fine. We all have accents in this podcast. I'd also like to apologize for getting people to leave your World WhatsApp group. So I think it's only still 2 at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. A big hug for you.
Yeah. But chat soon, Christian. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Christian.
Thank you.
So I was a little bit surprised with Christian. I really enjoyed that. It was really eye-opening because he talks a lot about rugby and his passion for rugby. I didn't realize how the sports dentistry stuff is really with soccer and the big soccer club and how they've developed that. So it was really interesting to hear.
Yeah, and I think the fact he's involved with the under-13s all the way through to the first team just goes to show you just how much they value his expertise and his commitment to looking after the athletes and their oral health, and what he's been doing for such a long period of time. And I suppose the question I was, in hindsight, should have asked him was like, why is it taking so long for you to kind of get the voice out there as well? Because it's a similar thing we've said before with the Americans and with Fiona, and they've worked so hard for so many years, and all of a sudden it's now coming out the woodwork with all these people who've been doing such amazing sports dentistry related activities for such a long period of time. Is that because social media it's a lot easier for the information and the word to get out there? Is it because more people are interested? Is it because the associations are starting to get up and running? So it's something I now think, I should have kind of asked him with that. But the fact that he is still as passionate as all of our other guests, it just goes to show you that there's people out there in different countries all over the world who have this passion, and we just need to try and uncover them and give them an opportunity to speak, which is why we get them onto this podcast, is to be able to let people in that region, in that part of the world, show just what is going on there, but also the ability to travel. He obviously traveled to Europe. He obviously traveled to South Africa. He's putting himself out there and going to places where, yes, it's not easy to get to, and it takes quite a long time, and financially it's probably a bit of a burden as well. But the connections and the people that you meet through that and the stories that you'll tell and the stories that we have with him, they'll live with us forever, So, he was a great guy to listen to because of his passion that you could hear. And we've said that a lot on this podcast about the guests that we've had.
Yeah, definitely. And as he says, social media is not real life.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
it's good.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. I think we've chatted about this before, just that sort of model of working with the academies. I had a good conversation with Giselle, who's involved with soccer clubs in Sao Paulo and Rio, and that's what they do. They're doing a lot of work to make it financial viable, to have like a clinic on site or a clinic linked in the training ground, working with the academies, but also the community and the fans in the area. And we had a bit of a chat with Annie as well about maybe some similar sort of model maybe that they're trying to do with Leeds Rhinos and the possibility of that. Maybe it's not as hands-on LinkedIn, where it's more like of an educational digital sort of like type of thing. But I think this is, instead of just like focusing on the first team players or the high profile players, it's looking at, can we actually build out a business model where we're working with the whole club, and that includes their development teams, their underage, their academies, and the community and the fans and everybody that's linked to that club, looking at it from that perspective, which was something I never really looked at it from. I was always kind of more focused on like the elite players and how can we work with the elite players. But if we were looking to really infiltrate sports dentistry a lot more and keep it viable and sustainable, like that's a model that might be able to work. Because if you think one surgery, I was told this years ago, and even from running practice, one surgery probably only needs 1,500 to 2,000 regular patients per surgery. So if you had a 2 surgery practice at the club, you would only need maybe 4,000, 3,500, 4,000 patients to have it really busy. And like, if you're looking at how many people go and watch a match, do you know what I mean? So if you go like even like a Premiership rugby match, there'd be more people going to that there. So if you're looking at it from outside, just helping the players, if you're looking at more sports dentistry supports for the whole club, so it's not just the players and athletes, but it's looking at improving the overall health of the community and the fan base that's linked to that club as well. You can start now building viable sort of feet on the ground clinics, sports dentistry clinics at these clubs.
And that's a good model, isn't it? And that's the way that you phrase it there is pretty good in terms of the community and the amount of people that go to these games and how you're able to, you only need a percentage of them to come and see you. And that might be it, because there's a lot of fans out there, and how many times do you hear, I've not been to the dentist in however long, or I've not been for that amount of time, but they make regular trips to the ground to go and watch their favourite team play, or their other away fans come over and there's an emergency. I think obviously you can't probably do it on match day, because that doesn't really make it any sort of viable, because it'll be so busy. But I think that is something that, speaking to Christian and what Annie's been doing up at Leeds Rhinos, is maybe a model that could start to work, unless people are doing it. We don't really know then. We always say that you need to maybe try. So it is something that might work, and it's something that we could encourage, or once we get a model of that in other grounds or other countries and see how that kind of works. Certainly is something that could work and it could develop. Again, it could be something where you kind of split it between you can have the dental surgery, but also there's physios that you can have sort of a chair which could be a hybrid between a physio bed and a dental chair, and there's other ways you can utilize that space as well. It doesn't necessarily just need to be for a dentist or a therapist or a hygienist, but it could be for other medical professionals who may be able to utilize the space or the chair that's there as well. So again, you're talking about multifactorial or multidiscipline approach for these athletes and for the people involved with that.
Yeah, and it's dentistry. It makes it quite hard for us to do, because I even thinking about whenever I was looking at different sites for setting up a practice, like physios can just go into any room and throw up a physio bed. Like sports medicine docs can go into any room with a desk and a bed as well. You know, there's a lot of rooms that can be used. A lot of other professions can very easily be a multi-purpose room, but because with the dentist we need our tools. We need the high speed handpiece, we need the slow speed, the ultrasonic, for doing our cleans. We need somewhere for them to spit and to rinse, and high speed suction. That's adds extra, and it's not just like you have to get your plumbing in and your electrics in for all that to work. So it's not as if it's very easy just to set it and then move it out of the way to let another profession come to use that room. I think that's the challenge. What we have where when we're doing screenings and stuff, is a lot easier because we don't need as many tools and things like that, and we can use these multi-purpose rooms. But that's part of the challenge, isn't it? It's getting that set up, and then all the regulations that come with having a dental clinic and a dental setup, is trying to get that to balance out so we can provide this service.
I think, like you said, the regulations, that's a word that we associate with dental practices, because there's so many hoops, and you'll know that yourself with having your own practice, that sort of things you have to kind of get through just to kind of get a business up and running and get a dental practice up and running is completely different compared to, say, a sports medic or to a physiotherapist. Like you said, they just need a bed, not even a bed, even a chair or something similar to that. So that's where it makes it really, really tricky. And plus, dentistry is expensive in terms of machinery and tools and everything that you said there with high speed, slow speed. Then you're looking at instruments, and then you're looking at autoclaves, disinfection. The bills kind of add up. So there needs to be financially a viable option to be able to make that work. But if they are able to make it work in places like South America, and we'll see how the Leeds Rhino thing develops in that community, and there'll be other places in the world that are probably doing something similar that we've not managed to speak to yet. But I think it's a really good opportunity to bring it to the fore and see what the medics and the medical team say about something like that. I mean, it's definitely a conversation worth having. Whether it comes to fruition or not is a different thing, but it's definitely something that we could look at to see how that goes going forward.
Yeah, it's definitely. I definitely think that's the most viable model if we're looking to get like hands-on or clinics on the ground in sport arenas. So that's really interesting. I think there's so much to learn from our South American colleagues of how they have been operating, and as we said before, they're very passionate, and that comes through in Christian. And whenever they launched this I'm not sure, what was it, Latin or
Latin America?
Latin America, yeah.
Latin America, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, it must be Latin America. Definitely get the Spanish version of that. So whenever they launch Latin America, it'll give a good opportunity for people to go over and have a look and see about that passion. And as we say, it's maybe the networking as well. As like if they're presenting in Spanish or Portuguese, like I'm not going to really understand what's going on. But it's more the conversations you'll have outside of the presentations and the networks, and sharing ideas and seeing what people are doing, and that's how I find it really valuable for learning.
But then you say you don't know what's going on, but remember when we were at ADEC, there was people who were speaking and they had the translation. So say if they are an opportunity where most of their speakers are speaking in Portuguese or in Spanish, but they have the ability for people like us to be able to go and listen in a translation in English. And I like to travel, my friends. So if they're saying, if you want to come over to South America, and we'll have AI translation, so you'll be able to listen to what's going on.
As long as it's not 2026, that's an option.
Well, the calendar is obviously very, very full. So,
Uh,
but we have said that we need to support Christian and what he does, and we will support him regardless, whatever happens, because he's been very good to us. And we hope that that association, picks up in other countries and around South America, start to build their own associations, and we can learn off each other the way that they do things there and the way that we do things here. So it's really exciting to see things like that happening, and they just seem to be kind of popping up. But it takes real leaders and real passionate people like Christian to help continue to drive the force forward.
Yeah, no, definitely it's great. I'm looking forward to catching up. But it's strange because we've seen him so much in person in a short period of time, and then you haven't seen him for a few months, and you're seeing him online. It's mad, isn't it? It just shows you how small the world has become.
That's exactly it. And, we wish him well with hopefully in the next few weeks his wife is due. So, hopefully everything goes well with that side of things. But just goes to show you the guests that we've been getting on with Annie and with Christian. We've got some really good guests kind of lined up as well. And we are making more of a conscious effort to get athletes on. So we're in the pipeline with getting that sorted in the lead up to a busy summer of sport with regards to the Football World Cup and with regards to Commonwealth Games. There's loads of stuff happening, and it's an opportunity for us to kind of get into the heads of these athletes and just see what makes them tick and their experiences and their past. People like Nadine and George who've been on, and it's trying to make sure that we're giving platform to people because, like my wife said, nobody wants to listen to a dentist speak every week on your podcast, so you need to try and branch out a little bit more. So I was like, okay, that's that. Because that's totally fair. That's totally fair. We're doing that, but when you've got really interesting people and good history behind the ones who we've had on so far, I think it's been really good. And we're getting up to the 50 mark. We're slowly but surely creeping up to the 50 mark. And do you have any idea of what you like to do when it comes to that, or what are you thinking?
No, you've put that much in our life at the moment between the UK and the Australian one, Australian New Zealand Sports Dentistry Association. I'm not sure we'll have much time for the 50, but we'll do. The 50 will be coming up very soon, very soon. But we'll have a think. We'll have had some good ideas about doing live podcasts and different ideas. So we are branching out, and we're going to do something with our sponsor Phillips as well. We're going to do a bit of a series this year as well. We need to plan and put together. So if anybody's in 8 years, but talking of athletes that are friends of the podcast, the Blitz Blacks won the series one there in New York, and Nadine is out this weekend for the second series 2 weekend, and then that will hopefully get her back into series 1 when they do the last 3 this year. So wishing her all the best and looking forward to seeing them qualified. I think they're second. It's very hard to keep track of everything. They had that weekend in Nairobi, and I think it goes into a table, and then have this weekend, and then people get promoted up, and then I don't know, they must start all over again with the sevens then, because there's new teams in it and stuff. It's hard to keep track. But
it is hard to keep track, but it's good. It's good to see friends of the show do well. So obviously the common denominator is that they come onto the podcast and do well. So Munsey did well at the World Cup. Nadine's done well. So if you're an athlete and you want to do well in your career, come on the podcast.
Yeah, that's the message. Cool. So until the next time.
Until the next time, my friend.
I'll chat to you soon.
See you later, buddy.